Celý život jsem na exém používala kortikoidy.
Řídila jsem se pokyny dermatologa.
Plně jsem důvěřovala léčbě a postupu.
Ale už mě to nezabíralo.
Musela jsem se mazat čím dál víc.
Zvyšovala jsem dávky.
A když jsem pak kortikoidy už vysadila,
Přišlo peklo,
pálení,
Bolest.
Budu muset opustit svůj běžný život.
přišly negativní účinky.
Po vysazení kortikosteroidů.
Topical Steroid Withdrawal
Je skutečný.
My jsme si to nevymysleli.
Proč bychom to dělali?
Chci, aby nás lékaři poslouchali.
Nechci, aby tohle si nikdo musel prožít znovu.
Beznaděj,
deprese,
Bolest.
strach.
chci si strhat kůži,
Nevyspalost.
Napsali mi do karty kortikofobie.
Nikdo mi v tu chvíli nechtěl pomoct.
chci, aby nám naslouchali.
Chci, aby nám konečně uvěřili.
Nejsi v tom sám. Nejsi v tom sám.
Nejsi v tom sám.
Nejsi v tom sám.
Šiř osvětu o TSW s námi. Má to smysl.
Nejsi v tom sám.
Okie dokie, here we are. Let me know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but it's Inka Teschinská, is that right?
Oh, it was very good, actually.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm very glad that you came on the show. I just saw your video that you partnered with Eczema with a few weeks ago, and it blew me away, and I just had to have you on the show. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. It's for me like such a pleasure to be here and talk about TSW and the situation in my country.
Yes, likewise. And I've heard this before. I think it was with a French woman, and she was saying how a lot of the TSW community is done through the English language, through Anglophones. And so people who are going through TSW who can't speak English might have a hard time. Has that been your experience?
Like, actually, I was learning English quite a long time, so it was not a big problem for me to translate the information for me. But of course, in my community, there are still people that are not like talking very well or don't understand the English. But also now with the AI and all the devices, you can actually translate things very well. So it's starting to be much more easier. But I was starting like 5 years ago. And a lot of people were also asking me if I can translate something. So it was a little bit of struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I know it would be for me. Luckily, worldwide, a lot of, non-native English speakers seems to be way better at learning languages than we Americans or anything like that. But I'm just really glad to see that that your community is tightly knit. It seems like to be from the surface. How did you get into this? Did you go through TSW yourself, or what's your story?
I'm gonna do it short because I think all the TSW stories are mostly the same. Like, I was struggling TSW maybe even before that I actually knew that it's TSW, like a lot of people, because I was using steroids for my eczema since my childhood. And so it's like, I don't know, 25 years, like off and on steroids. And I was actually like, it's something with no harm. Like, I was thinking that the steroid is just a cream, like the normal cream that actually heals my eczema. It's like actually the biggest mistake that I ever was thinking about. Like, it's some miracle cream that is really like curing the eczema. And so it was told me in in my appointments with the doctors, like, it's actually curing. So I think that's the biggest problem that we have. So I was using it like normal cream for moisturizing. Like, if I have just a tiny little scratch, I would use it. And then, of course, I need to put more and more cream, more and more often. Then I've got like injections, it's correctly said, like
Yes.
Through veins, the pills, and also I was 3 times in the hospital. So I had a lot of steroids in my system. And I was starting to realize that it actually doesn't quite helping, and I need to figure it out in a different way. And I met a Czech girl. She was already in TSW, and she texted me on Instagram. and she told me like, hey, maybe you have TSW. And I was searching through it, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm like survive this, because I saw all the pictures and I was reading the stories, and I was like, how I'm gonna do that? Because at the time when I was reading it, I was actually kind of good, if I would say now. Before I was thinking that I'm dying already, but I was like, I'm not able to go through these steps like these people. So it was a little bit crazy, and I throw away all the corticosteroids, which is also very like, if you from day to day you put them all away, it was very hard. And then my mom took me to the last appointment in the hospital. I was like refusing the corticosteroids. They were thinking that I'm crazy, and and I went through the immunosuppressant, through the cycle, for not even a year, because even during these medicaments, it was not working. Like at the end, I was
Cyclosporine.
I was having the flare-ups, so I put it away as well. And actually, the next half a year, I had a lot of flare-ups, but I was like actually prepared for it, so it was much better, and it was not that hard. And then I left country to Greece for a half year, and it helps me a lot. So this was my story. So I had also the medicament Recyclo, but I never went to the Dupixent or anything else. I stopped there because I realized it's actually not helping at all. So that's the story.
Yeah. I hear many different stories of people who have had skin diseases and their doctor was like, oh, you shouldn't overuse this. And so I think partially in my head, I like to have thought, oh, in other countries, certain other countries, people are more responsible with this. And because the United States is so greedy with its pharmaceuticals, then it's more of a, but it seems not to be. And you said this in your story that you were literally told this is curing your skin. Is that literally what they told you?
No, I think that yes, like when I was a child, definitely, but maybe not in that way, but I think that yes. But also there was never mentioned like the side effects, like never.
Yeah.
Or like some using, for example, wash your hands after you are using steroids on the other parts, because then you put the steroids everywhere, even in the eyes. But nobody ever told me like wash my hands after using cream with steroids.
Yeah, isn't that weird? If it's so safe to use, then why do you have to wash your hands? Like, why do you have to be so careful with it? And let me ask you this, Inka, do they have over-the-counter steroids there? Like you can just go into a store and buy any, like not the super powerful ones, but you could buy like no, they don't?
No, just the low potent one, or just the 0.01 or 0.1. I'm not quite sure.
0.05 or 0.5. Yeah,
just this
the
one.
lower.
It's the only one you can actually buy wherever you
same.
want.
Okay, same here. I just wanted to make sure, and even then we hear. I don't know if you've heard stories where people have gone through the withdrawal even with just low dose cortisone, but that's what I'm trying to get at is like if it's so safe to use, but you need to be super careful with it, why are we just handing it to people over the counter? Like it seems that's the thing that I'm having trouble with is you're telling me that the doctors didn't really mention the side effects to you. Like why are we having this disconnect? That's the thing I can't put the puzzle pieces together, you know?
Yeah, like for me, I think there are more puzzles that I cannot put together. Like all the TSW is actually quite, puzzle, because as you said, somebody will go through the TSW even with the low potent one, with the 0.1, and somebody will not, and somebody will not go through TSW even with the pills and whatever, and they are like quite okay. But the hard point for me is like, what is okay? Because people always telling me I'm using steroids just someday when I need it, and then I'm okay. And I'm like, what is actually like you are using it off and on? Like if you need to use it once a week, I think it's a problem.
Yeah. If you're, I mean, just like with any sort of medicine that has a lot of side effects, if you're relying on it, it can get dangerous. And I think it's, even when I spoke to Ian Miles from the National Institute of Health, he's still trying to figure it out. And all of these people are trying to figure out, why is it that one person over here can use corticosteroids or glucocorticoids and be totally fine, and then this other person not be? And I think we hopefully might be in the cusp of figuring that out. Like if we can find who's more predisposed, that would be great. Because I think I heard this in one of your translations on Instagram, that you're very much in favor of working with the doctors, doing it together. Is that right?
I would love to, but like sometimes there is a problem because they are still thinking that we are like against them, but that's not actually the point. That's not even the point of the campaign. The point of the campaign is like to cooperate and find a way, actually. And because people, they need the doctors, they need to go to the appointment and feel safe there, not like stressed out and like scared of to tell something about like, I don't want to use the steroids, because then there is a like, I don't know, shitstorm about how crazy you are. And you know, that's the problem. And when the campaign like came, it was actually okay, but some of the doctors were like, it's very rude and it's against them, and like we are putting all the doctors, like we are saying in my language, like we are putting them all in the one bag or something. I don't know if you have
you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah. That's it. But that's not true. It's just the experience that we have. Like most of the doctors are like that. And I am happy if there is at least one that the doctor that he is like supporting and able to talk about TSW, that's perfect. But most of them are not.
Yeah. I do feel like there's this air of condescension coming from a lot of dermatologists and general practitioners. I don't know if you have probably don't have the same word over there. But,
it's GP, but I don't know what you mean.
Okay. I do feel there's an air of condescension sometimes, but I feel like just as well as that exists, on the other side, you can have a lot of people who are very rude and offensive. And I think because like on the patient side, if you've gone for years not being believed and being gaslit, then you're going to be confrontational in the doctor's office. And if you're a doctor who's trying to help people genuinely, but this patient keeps coming in and being confrontational and trying to tell you that you're wrong, you're going to be confrontational. And so it's just this like constant battle. And that's why I appreciate the tone and the attitude of what you're trying to say. That's what I feel you're trying to say through your campaign.
That's perfect that even you like see it and hear it in the correct way, and you don't speak the language. I would love to all the doctors in my country like get the campaign this way, because that's actually what we are trying to like have the support, have the cooperation.
Yeah. So tell me about the campaign itself. What are the steps you're trying to do?
So we did a video with the nine warriors. It should be 10, but at the day it was just 9 because one of them she was in a very bad condition because of the TSW, so she was not able to attend, which I totally understand. And I sent it to a lot of media in the Czech Republic, like the how to say it, more like how do I say it? Not about the celebrities and these stuff, like the better media, and also through some podcasts that are like famous in the Czech Republic. So in few days, I think there should be some article, and during June I should take I think 3 or 4 interviews through podcasts. So I hope that gonna help. Also to the one podcast we will go with one of the girls from the campaign. And they also should make the print from it, like to the newspaper. So I think it's gonna be like working. I have a like that I did a lot of interviews about the project before, so I have a lot of contact to these people from media. So that's a little bit of advantage. But I don't know how in our country, but in our country the media is working like, if it's not actually the time that you want to focus on eczema and this problem, you don't want to talk about it in the media. If you don't have actually the time to have it, because they have it, of course, during autumn. It's they are very likely to doing things about eczema in autumn, because eczema it's coming in autumn. Like the flare-ups are here in autumn. So a lot of things are written in September or October. So
wow, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
That makes
it's actually working like that.
Yeah, I would think that probably makes more sense because it's a smaller country, and so there's probably less media companies with more news, so they have to get what they have to get through. I think in the US it's just so many different geographies mixed together that whatever's clever at the same time. But that's really interesting. So after you go through the different media, are you just trying to raise awareness, or like in your government, are there any pathways that you could speak directly with someone in your government to pass a bill like with ITSAN or something?
Yeah, like the first thing is definitely the awareness. Because I'm talking about TSW like 5 years, and actually the community and also the people around it, they were still seeing eczema mostly, not the TSW. I was talking about it, but the eczema was the first thing. But actually I founded a Top Život with the vision of eczema, because I was not aware about TSW. So it actually came after that I found out that TSW is exist. I put TSW to the project, but it was founded because of eczema, because I thought that I was struggling with severe eczema, but I did not. So the awareness is definitely number one, because I live in my bubble when people know about TSW. And we put a campaign, and a lot of people were like, what is happening, what it is, I'm using steroids, and so on and so on. So it's just my bubble that the TSW is well-known thing. So I'm also happy if also, not happy actually, I love to saying that I'm happy that the community is growing, but actually I'm kind of unhappy that a lot of people have eczema or TSW. So a lot of people now can realize that TSW is existing. They can think about it, how to use the corticosteroids. What maybe it will answer them a lot of questions, because I was also questioning myself during the severe eczema. What's happening to me, because this is not eczema. What should I do? And then I found out about TSW, and I was like, finally, it was the click. that I finally understand my body. So I hope that awareness also like bring the people to the community, and maybe they will figure it out what to do next. And the second thing definitely is to push the doctors and push the government and these things. Like I think the first step that we need is some doctor, some dermatologist that he is willing to speak about it loudly. And then we can like approach more, because I'm not a doctor, like I'm not even a scientist. So that's the quite issue, because in our country it's also like if you are like a specialist, if you are a doctor, if you are like scientist or whatever, you have like more power, or your words are like they are more valuable. So if there will be just one doctor that is willing to speak about it, that would be perfect. So maybe we will like found him or her. I actually did the interview with the dermatologist, and she was speaking about TSW. Like it was very open, but I don't think that she is up to doing like more, like actually changing things, because it's also the problem if you're gonna speak about it. You have your job, you have like bills to pay and everything, so you know it's quite hard. So I think the next step is the doctor, like the open-minded doctor who will like push the things and maybe like start to do some studies and these things, because that's what we need, like the evidence-based. Because the experience-based of people is actually not enough, what I see.
What about Barbara Paldus? I saw that you did a podcast with her, and she definitely caught the attention of the TSW community with her TED Talk. She seems like someone, from what I remember in her TED Talk, she was like so down to experiment and try all of these different things to help with her son's eczema. And she's very aware of TSW. So I wonder if she could be more of an ally. But again, it has to be, she's going to have to want to do it, right? You can't make her.
I actually think she's very open to it, but of course she's also like the business woman, so she needs to focus also on her things. But she actually preparing something for the dermatologist, and I think I can't like say more, but I think she's got a lot of plans, and I think it will like help people a lot. Of course, the main focus is on eczema, but if we are starting to treat eczema in the correct way without like using steroids, okay, maybe in some people maybe will someday need it. I totally understand, like the steroids are the part of the medicine, but if we are like start treat the eczema differently with the help of Barbara and these things, I think there will be less TSW.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, you're treating it at its core. Yeah, if you start to actually look at the real reasons why someone is flaring up and not just hide it, then you're going to see, you know, your like, as you say, your community is going to start to shrink, which might be a, you know, good or bad thing, right?
I think actually we of course we need to be TSW like official thing, but we also need to start thinking about eczema differently. Because there will be no more TSW people.
Yeah, what were some of the things in hindsight that maybe you learned from Barbara or you learned through yourself that you wish you had done with your eczema? Like, you know, you see yourself flare up. What if you could go back in time, what would you do instead?
I would stop panicking, like, because I saw just one scratch, one tiny little red spot, and I was like furious. But that's also the problem of the society, I think. That's another topic that I don't know if we want to like go there.
We got the
because
time. We got the time.
It's because the society, like for example for the young girls, it's like you need to be pretty, you need to have clear skin, you need to be thin, you need to be perfect in everything, like at school, in your job, everywhere, every time. So eczema is actually a very bad thing to have because it's not perfect. So
Yeah.
that's the problem about when I saw just one little tiny spot. I thought that I'm not perfect, I'm not pretty, and nobody will marry me. Oh, I'm not married now, but it's not about eczema, but
Yeah, I hate that too. I do think it disproportionately affects women. I see it because most of the people that are in the TSW community appear to be women, but I've heard stories even from men who get, little boys who get made fun of at the playground. Yeah. And I think it's, you're touching on the right thing with the societal part, and I have this now that I've gone through the worst of my TSW. I'm not healed 100%, but if I have a flare up, well, thank you. But if I have a little flare up behind the knees, and I see it, and part of me wants to, like you say, oh no, and start panicking.
yeah.
But if I give myself a few days,
Yes.
if I give myself maybe a week and cool it down, relax, it will go away. And there's this great need, when, especially I know in North America, we're maybe a little bit too busy and too hardcore, and everything needs to be now. We need to be at work. We can't, take the time, and it's making people sick. And this is just one of the ways that it's making people sick. Yeah. So I agree with you.
That's it, actually. I know mostly point of view from the girls, but you see, it's also the boys, so... Yeah,
but disproportionately the girls because
but I think also the guys are
again.
afraid to talk about it loudly.
True. Yeah.
But we have a man in the campaign.
Yes.
Which was like success to get one man to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if we can, I think so many parts of this TSW movement extend way beyond just the skin. We're talking about societal issues. We're talking about, the expectations on each sex in the society, and you see, like we talked about how women always have to be perfect, or if you don't have your perfect makeup on during your work hours, then you're unprofessional, which is ridiculous. And if you're a man and you show any sort of weakness at all, then you're a loser. And it's all of that stuff is so dumb. And I'm glad that we're starting to see beyond that. I'm so glad that a male went in, even if he's surrounded by females, and just be vulnerable and say, look, this is what happened to me. It ruined my life. I'm in pain. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Just, yeah.
Actually, and all these things you actually learn because of TSW, I think. Because a lot of people are like, I really hate TSW. It was like the worst time of my life. But I actually learned something. Like, I learned something about myself. I learned something about society. I learned that I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be everywhere. I don't need to say yes to everything. So a lot of people at the end, like, they are telling me I'm happy for TSW because I know who I am and I actually appreciate my life much more, which is actually quite nice, even if the TSW is not quite nice. It's very nice to see, like, it makes you stronger.
Absolutely. I had this moment. I'm a very impatient person. I'm very easily irritated and I'm very particular. But I had this moment when I was realizing I was going to go through TSW, and there was a stressful moment in a store. My wife and I were waiting in a line, and there was like an argument broke out, and I just realized it's like, this is all so unnecessary. And I feel, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people don't have that struggle in their lives. Me personally, I had a very good childhood. I had all my needs met. I was very, very lucky to have had that, but I never had something so challenging to actually like ground me in the world and show me actual perspective so that I could be grateful for my situation. And what TSW did for me is show me is like, at any moment you could lose everything, and you better appreciate it and be nice to people, because you could lose it all.
Yeah, totally understand. It's like you can get this, even if you go through something. It not necessarily the TSW, but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think what's amazing about what you're doing is you're connecting people together. And I know you said like you're happy that the community is growing, but you're sad that there's more TSW people. But the only way that we're going to learn how to heal, not just physically, but in our minds and our souls, is by talking with other people that are going through the same thing. My last podcast, I spoke with a man who's been through a lot of trauma, and he said the same thing, that if he can sit down with someone who's been through something similar and they can work it out together, they can be vulnerable together. I personally believe, I don't know about you, but I personally believe that itself is that mental, psychological, communal healing manifests itself in the physical world. If you can have that, if you just talk with a friend,
Yeah.
you get physically better. And I know that sounds like maybe obvious to some people, but it wasn't to me beforehand.
Yeah. Like the first thought that why I did the project, because of eczema at the time, but the first kick, it was because I was feeling alone. And I want to like just write about it. And I wrote like first article to my websites. My friend did it during the COVID, so it was a nice time to do these things, because everybody's got the time. So he did the websites, and I put the first article about that I have eczema and I'm feeling like shit. And nobody like understand me. And a lot of people in around, even they didn't even know that I have eczema. They were like, "What? You have like problems?" It was because of the COVID, because we were not seeing each other, and I had the biggest flare-ups, and still using steroids and the pills, and it's starting to be the TSW. And I just wrote this article, and I felt so relieved. And it was the time of the first people in the community. It was like, I don't know, 3 people in the group. And it was so good writing to them and talking to them. It was perfect. And I actually finally, like, I was not feeling alone. And it was perfect that I was not suffering alone. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm feeling so bad that I feel better because somebody is suffering, same as me. I feel so bad for it. And I'm like, no, don't feel bad. It's actually totally natural to, like, the pain, that you can share the pain makes the pain like smaller, and it's okay. And don't feel bad about it, because everybody does it.
Yes. Yeah. And I started this podcast because I was feeling lonely, and I think that's something, like you say, it's very natural to do, and you want to talk to somebody. And when you're going through a health condition that's so unique and so imprisoning, you are alone. Even if you're surrounded by family, if they don't have that condition, they don't understand it. They will care. They can care. They'll care for you, but
Or they could tell you, stop scratching.
Stop that. I can't.
Or moisturize
stop.
yourself. Oh my God.
Oh man.
You should do something about it.
Yeah, but it's exactly it. If you can come together with people, and even if someone is doing worse than you, and their condition is horrifying, that can give you perspective, and you can provide help to that person. So not only are you not feeling alone, and not only are you getting better, but you're providing yourself with a sense of purpose by helping other people. And I'm sure you've probably felt this, but people who message you, they DM you and they say, I saw your thing and it made me realize that I had to go through this, or it helped me. And even just one person, it's life-changing,
Yeah, that's true. And also the point that you said, like when you see somebody is much worse than you, or like in a horrifying condition, I also like see very often in the community that people are like realizing that they are okay, and they actually stop panicking, and they're like, I'm actually fine. I saw these people and I'm actually quite happy. So somebody could also realize that it's okay, or I don't need the steroids for this because when I see this coming or something. So also I see this kind of posts in the community, like people are, oh my God, I'm so happy with my tiny little eczema, thank you. So also this you can realize.
Yeah, are you familiar with Louise King in the UK?
Yes.
I saw her post this one time, and it was just with a few little bumps of eczema on her elbow. And she posted that like she was proud of it. Whereas before, especially a young woman such as herself might never want to show that, right? Oh no, it's not perfect, like you say. But she's posting this little piece of eczema on her skin, like, look at this, look how far I've come, because this little red dot is nothing compared to what I went through. And now I actually know how to take care of it. And to me, what breaks my heart is that so many people have to go through years of unimaginable suffering just to understand how to take care of themselves properly. Because the structures that are provided to us by society are not giving that to us, even though that's their purpose. Like the Hippocratic Oath, one of the lines in there is to do no harm. And it just kills me, especially when I see a young person or a child who can advocate for themselves.
Child, that's very hard.
Yeah.
I actually I can imagine that I am the mother and I need to decide if I use the steroids or not with the information that I have. Yeah.
And then, at the time you're making what you think is the right choice, because you consulted with the experts. You went through the system that you're supposed to be able to trust, that for almost everything else you can trust. And then you see what your child goes through. I can't even imagine the guilt. And on my podcast, I had this lady from Hawaii whose little baby son was going through this, and she the pain that she went through without even going through that is just unimaginable. That you see your baby going through that and you have no idea what to do. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Yeah.
It's hard. It's actually hard. And also you said one thing about, and I totally forgot what it was, but I wanted to add also the problem, like if you are like trying to explain TSW to the patient, to the person who is suffering with eczema, and mostly is happening, they don't believe you. And I feel like I'm angry, but I cannot be angry because it's their life. I told them the information, and it's perfectly okay to tell me, I don't believe it, because I was the person. I didn't believe like that in the first time, like that there is a TSW or something. The girl that I was talking about, it's actually one of my best friends now. She told me about TSW, and I hated her for telling me such a horrible thing.
Oh my God.
Like, she was like, I think you have TSW, look here, look there, look at other warriors. I think it's your problem. I have it also. And I was like, oh my God, go away, you crazy girl. Yeah. And then I realized that it's actually my problem as well. So I have TSW, and yeah. So when I'm telling somebody this thing and they're like, I don't believe you, I'm like, I was at your place and I totally get it. But I would be happy if everybody like believes in it, because it could help them. It could like, stop it before it's getting worse. But you can't like push people to do it. It's their decision. You just provide the information and then it's up to them. So that's also for me the hard part. Like I see it also in the community. Like people are, I'm still using steroids and I think it's okay. They are helping me. And I'm always like, not judging you, it's your choice. I'm trying to have the community like this, like not like hating people that are using steroids, because that's crazy. Because I think we have so much fights with the dermatologists, with the society. So we should not have fights between each other. Yeah. So I'm always like, it's totally okay. You have all the information in the community and it's up to you. But deep in my mind, I'm like,
yeah. Yeah,
what
I feel the same way.
You explain me, what does it mean helping? Like you need it to use every day, every week. What is the helping? Because sometimes it's like that you use it once a year or something. But I was also at that place that I was using just once a year, and it was once a month, and there was, the story.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but then it's also the part that you said, like how we could know who is like, more likely to have TSW and who's not. That's also the hard part. Like somebody will have it, somebody won't.
Yeah, that's where we need to go from here. And just to say as well, I was also the person who didn't believe. My wife was like, you shouldn't be putting this on. I didn't believe her. And I went through this, and now when someone contacts me, just like you, I want to slap that bottle of cortisone out of their hands. But I think what you're doing is the right thing, because that's what a doctor does. A doctor gives what they know to be factual, and then they decide what the patient does with their life. You can't, and sometimes you have to let people make the mistake. But I hope that, here's the distinction, is I hope that, like, I know in Canada, when you buy a pack of cigarettes, you have photos of people with cancer, like
we
throat
have it
cancer.
as well.
Right. So when you look at it, you know fully well what you're getting into, and you go, I know this, and I'm still going to smoke a cigarette. Right. And I think if we can have a big, fat, bold warning saying, if you use this regularly, there is a risk of TSW. Having that, and of course, like you ended with, a scientific template study that works with who is more likely to go through with this. We have to have that ASAP. We have to have that ASAP. But I don't know. I'm just glad to see more people like you talking, because I know you said you started this because you were feeling lonely, but look where you are now. You've garnered a good community, and we just need more people like you who are good communicators, who can put together a show, a podcast with good lighting and good guests, and just get the word out there. That, I feel like that's the best we can do, because I'm not going to go to medical school, and I'm not interested, but you know, just do what you can do. Just do what you can do.
Yeah. It's so funny because I was also wondering so many times that I should make some degree, I don't know, but then I was like, no, I don't want to go to the school again. And I will be like learning that you can use steroids to everything, because my friend is she's a dentist, and she had lessons about dermatology, and she was telling me that there is name of the illness, and the what you put on it, it's steroids, and it was like the illness steroids, and I think my head will explode if I'm like studying this.
Yeah, this whole notion that you can just put one thing on the most complicated and largest organ in the body and it's just fine. I remember a doctor telling me that your skin is just bad and we need to fix it with this cream. 2 + 2 = 4, buddy. Do you get it? I mean, he didn't say that, but that was essentially, you know, this is the formula, this is what works, that's it, period, the end of story. But as we're finding out, not everybody goes through TSW the same way, not everyone has eczema the same way, not everyone gets has the cause of their eczema the same way, and to treat everybody in the center of the bell curve, right, the graph of people, it's ridiculous. And that's why I found traditional Chinese medicine to be so helpful, because it was like, instead of you are sick, you take this, you immediately get better, it was, no, my doctor, traditional Chinese medicine doctor, told me, imagine it like you break a foot, which I did, but you put a cast on, and months go by, and the cast is slowly putting the bones back together. And even after the cast is done, you have to do physical therapy, stretches, you have to rehabilitate. And with something like TSW, where your whole body is just totally out of whack, you've gotten to that point. And I think so many illnesses, we need to stop treating them like they're simple math equations. They're not. And this is a human being with an individual story. That's and telling them that they can heal that quickly when it's not possible is just as damaging. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I have nothing more to say to it, because it is what it is. It's still happening, and it's actually still the same how my eczema was treated like 30 years ago. How is that possible?
Yeah, you have a system of education for doctors that for most things works well, and they're supposed to work that way, right? They're supposed to develop very easy to understand systems so that they can help people. But I think it's not just about the medical community. It's not just about the scientific community or the religious community or the media. It's just about what humans do. And humans get attached to a certain idea, and they attach their identity to that idea. And when someone combats that idea, they're combating that person's identity. right? And so, if I identify as a doctor that glucocorticoids are the way, and you're telling me that's wrong, you're telling me I'm wrong, and I'm the one who went to the medical school. And that works for people with TSW too. If you tell me that TSW is wrong, you're telling me that I'm wrong. And they're just ideas. They're just ideas. we can exchange them,
Yeah.
And that's what I see that gives me hope. Like, especially again with the way that you're trying to lead your campaign. Let's work together. Let's have a decent conversation. I'm not trying to defeat you. I'm trying to work with you. That gives me hope.
Yeah. I'm happy that you see it like that. It's perfect.
Do you not see it like that? Or you're not
I
as hopeful?
see it like that, and also the community see it like that. As I told you, some few doctors were like, we are attacking them with the words and with the sentences in the campaign, and I was like listening it to again and again, and I was trying to find like the fight, like the root thing, but I didn't find it. But I don't have an objective point of view, so.
Well,
So
I mean,
happy-
frankly, neither do I. I'm totally biased. But I mean, let me ask you this: it's like if someone in your neighborhood says that their father was abusive and hit them, does that make every father bad? No,
Of course.
And there are so many doctors out there who care so much, but they don't have the tools to help. I went to many doctors who went, I see what you're going through. This looks horrible. I want to help you, but I've never seen eczema like this. And so I don't really know what to do, but they care. And then it's a spectrum, right? Then you have doctors who are like, whatever, you're crazy. And I think that's probably what's happening is these doctors are like, I'm a good doctor. I care. Why are they telling me that I don't care? It's just
I know.
unfortunate,
Yeah. I was prepared for it, so. I'm actually okay. I'm actually happy that there was some comments from the doctors, even negative. I'm happy that they are seeing the campaign and they are seeing the TSW, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is just
the
to
first step.
get it in front of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's perfectly successful. Just one of my last questions here. What are you like? How are you doing? First of all, are you in a good place with your skin? And what are you hopeful for? I guess to end on a positive note.
Yeah. I'm actually very happy, and my skin is perfect. Totally clean. I'm trying to live near the sea as much as possible. So now I'm in Croatia.
Nice.
So the sea is helping me a lot, actually. And I recommend the sea and the sun to everybody because it's really, really helpful. I spent half a year in Greece after immunosuppressants, and it helped me so much. And after that, I'm trying to stay near the sea as much as possible because in my country, I see that I have the flare-ups, but tiny little. So, and my hopes, I don't know. I hope the TSW will be the official diagnosis. It would help a lot because then everything could be much more easier. And also hopes for some doctor that will be willing to talk about TSW and fight for us, and also make the studies and cooperate with the TSW community. That will be perfect.
Absolutely. And one more thing is that in the community in the community that you're a part of, do they know about? I mean, when you mentioned sea and sun, that's something that the cold atmospheric plasma, the CAP community, do they know about CAP? Do they at least have the at their disposal different avenues to go through if they so would like to try them.
Like this treatment, I have also one incredible story that happened in our country, because we have some websites or projects where you can like collect the money from the people. It's like a non-profit, so you can put your project there and collect the money. And one girl from the community, Lucy, she actually collect, oh my God, how much was it? More than 500,000 Czech crowns. And actually now I don't know how much is it in dollars.
Let me find out.
My boyfriend would know in 30 seconds, maybe less, but I'm not able now to calculate it. But it's enough to go to Bangkok for the CAP treatment for a year.
Wow. Okay.
So that's huge. She did
That's
it, and
wow. Sorry. I'm just looking it up. Yeah, that's about like $22,000. Yeah, so that's really good. Yeah, it's kind of like a GoFundMe sort of thing, like a crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So she posted there that she's got a TSW, that it's a condition after using steroids for eczema, and also she really collect this amount of money, and she's leaving, I think, next month for a year. And also with these treatments, it's starting to be popular in the community, but for a lot of people, it's still like expensive or hard to get. Like you need to go to Bangkok or to Singapore. Today, I think they opened the new one in Bali.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it happened today, like few hours ago, I think. So, and also in Great Britain, but the Great Britain is the most expensive. So it's like no-go, but the other ones are very far away. So a lot of people are like, I have kids, I have like family, I have job to do here, so it's hard to go there for a half a year or something. So there is an option, but it's not for everybody actually. And in our country, it's like you can go to some appointment with this treatment, but I don't think it's that intensive like in these places. And what I want to do, I want to visit like Bangkok, Singapore, and now Bali because I'm leaving to Asia in August. For a longer period, so I would love to visit them and ask the question and collect the info for the community in the Czech Republic. So
that would be amazing. Yeah, if we could have a CAP clinic in most countries, even if it's just one per country, it would make a huge difference. Because just the idea of traveling by plane for like 48 hours when you're going through TSW. Good God.
It's the also the hard part.
That, oh my gosh. But if my hope is that if we could combine CAP with traditional Chinese medicine, because CAP is, from what I've seen, amazing. And the protocols at home that they combine together, that's amazing. If we could take that plus traditional Chinese medicine, you're taking care of the whole body, because the CAP is mainly just the skin, and then TCM is the hormones, the organs, the blood flow, the thermoregulation, all of that. And if people had access to that with their own government's insurance or medical system, we wouldn't.
Oh, like I think it's like we can make something in our countries, but with the insurance, oh my God, it's so long run, I think. So yeah. But one girl is still like texting me about it. She's trying to get the cup to the Slovakia, which is the country next to us.
Okay.
We have almost the same language because we were together as a one country till 1993, and I hope that I don't mess up the year because I will be such an idiot that I don't know it. But I think it's 1993. So
I almost screwed that up, by the way, because growing up we had older maps and it was still the older
Czechoslovakia.
configuration. Yeah, Czechoslovakia, and I was almost like, oh, she's from. Wait, no, she's not.
No,
Be
don't
super
worry.
careful.
Like we are actually kind of used to it, especially like from America, that you still think that we are Czechoslovakia. So we are okay with it.
Got a bunch
But
of
even
dumb
in Europe
Americans who don't know
sometimes-
the world.
No,
Yeah.
but come on, I don't know your 50 states and everything there, so
But that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot you can skim over. You can, if the United States was a book, you could skim through the pages and you'd be all right, I think. You just want to look at the books, the prologue to the Book of America. I think that's what's interesting. The stuff that came before the Europeans came and screwed up a lot of it. But that being said, I love my country, but I do think that a lot of Americans need to learn more languages. I feel so embarrassed that our educational system is so bad that, you know, we teach like Spanish and French and all these other languages in our system, but hardly any American who's a native English speaker can speak another language. But all over the world, everyone else can speak English easy, and it's like come on. Like, come on now. Like, we gotta be better than that.
It's very actually like it's easy language, like English. I realized it after a lot of years, but now I'm learning Greek. And English is
Wow.
so fun and so easy, and Greek is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Man. There's so many cool things about Greece I could talk about right now, but it has nothing to do with TSW.
Yeah, I
but
love
yeah.
Greece, so stop it now because it's my favorite country. And
Well, you know, I have one thing about Greece. I'm reading this book, and this is about the Battle of Thermopylae. And I know it's greatly dramatized, but it is Greek, so pretty
I've
cool.
been to Thermopylae and there is nothing, so don't go there. There is just one statue and that's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably changed quite a bit from there, but yeah. The history of all these countries is so freaking cool. But anyways, I greatly appreciated talking with you about TSW Inka, and I hope that I hope you have a good time and you eventually get to go visit these different CAP clinics and
But cool.
help us spread the word. I think you're doing a very good job. I really do.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It was perfect, and I hope that I express everything that I wanted in English. It's not my language, but it's still better than Greek. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you did. You expressed everything beautifully. So thank you so much, and take care.
thank you very much. Bye bye.